Why does nothing matter now?
Welcome back, everyone. I'm here again with Candace Czarny, author of First Cause. If you've been with us, you know the thread. We've talked about anger that shows up for no reason, and about sovereignty, the power to choose who you are no matter what's happening around you. Today we're going somewhere a lot of people quietly land, especially later in life. The career winds down, the kids are grown and gone, the roles that used to define the whole day just aren't there anymore. And what comes up is a question people are almost ashamed to say out loud. Why does nothing seem to matter now? Candace, welcome back.
Thank you. And I want to say right away, if that question is living in you, you are not broken and you are not alone. Because for most of a lifetime, meaning was attached to roles. The job, the title, being the provider, being the parent everyone needed. And those roles carried you. They filled the day, they told you who you were, and they gave you a built-in answer to why you got up in the morning. Then one day, the job ends. The kids are grown. And the roles that answered the question for you are simply gone. And in the quiet that's left, the real question surfaces, the one the roles were covering all along. Is any of this actually mine?
That's a hard moment. But you draw a distinction I'd never heard before, between meaning and purpose, and even two kinds of meaning. Can you unpack that?
Yes, because the words get used loosely, and the difference actually matters. In the research, there are two separate things, presence and search. Presence is how meaningful your life feels right now, actually, today. Not in theory, in the real texture of your ordinary day. Search is how hard you're looking for meaning, how much energy you're spending hunting for the something you sense should be there but isn't. And here's the finding that stops people. The most painful profile isn't giving up. It's searching hard while feeling almost nothing. High search, low presence.
So a retired person, frantically filling the calendar, looking for the thing that will make it feel meaningful again, that's the trap?
Exactly that. They're standing right in the place where meaning lives, hunting for it and can't recognize it, because they were told it should look different. More travel, more activities, more ways to stay busy, and none of it fills the hole because busy isn't the same as meaningful.
What's the difference then? Because a lot of people think if they just stay active, the feeling comes back.
This is the most useful distinction I can give you. The difference between pleasure and meaning. Pleasure is immediate, the good meal, the nice trip, the pleasant afternoon. It's real, but it fades the moment it's over. Meaning is different. Meaning is the sense that what you're doing matters, that you're being used well, that your particular gifts are meeting a real need. Here's the line I want you to remember. Pleasure is weather. Meaning is the house. You cannot use weather as a substitute for shelter. That's why the trip that was supposed to recharge you leaves you exactly as empty as before you left. It was weather. You needed a house.
Okay, so if staying busy isn't it, and more pleasure isn't it, where does meaning actually come from?
Here's the part that changes everything. Meaning is not found, it's grown, and it grows from exactly one place. Your own genuine knowing about what matters to you, expressed in action that lines up with that knowing. Not what you're supposed to care about, what you actually do. And this is why so much later life searching comes up empty. People are looking for a role to replace the role they lost. Another borrowed answer to fill the gap. But borrowed purpose never held. That's why it fell away so easily when the job or the role ended.
Borrowed purpose. Say more about that, because I think that's the piece most people miss.
Borrowed purpose is purpose that was handed to you before you were old enough to author your own. The path that made your family proud. The definition of a good life that was just in the air where you grew up. You absorbed it so early it felt like your own conviction. And it can carry you for decades because chasing it earns approval. But the day the role ends, the approval stops. And the emptiness that was always there shows itself. That's not a tragedy, that's an invitation. For the first time, you get to ask what's actually yours.
And this is where First Cause comes in. How does getting to that moment before help someone find real meaning?
because your own knowing is quiet. It doesn't shout over the noise. And for most of a lifetime, the noise, the roles, the expectations drowned it out. First cause is the moment before the noise takes over, the clear place underneath it all, where you can finally hear yourself again. And in that quiet, the questions change. Not, what did I used to be? Not, what does everyone expect me to do now? But, what is genuinely mine to give? And here's the gift of this stage of life. For the first time, there's no boss, no schedule someone else set, no role you have to perform. Which means for the first time, the answer can actually be yours. That's not the end of your meaning. It's the beginning of the truest chapter of it.
So what does that look like practically for someone sitting in that empty quiet right now?
It's smaller than people expect. It's not a grand new purpose that arrives in a lightning bolt. It's one honest thing, done because it's genuinely yours. The creative work you set aside for 40 years, the person you could mentor, the thing you always said you'd do if you ever had the time. You do one of those consistently and something shifts. Your presence rises. The day starts to feel like yours again. Not borrowed, not performed. And the searching changes quality. It stops feeling like anxious hunting and starts feeling like genuine exploration. That's the shift we're after.
That's genuinely hopeful. Before we close, what do you want to say to the person who's afraid it's just too late for them?
I want them to hear that it is not too late. Meaning doesn't retire. It doesn't have an age limit. The research is clear. Presence can rise at any stage of life. You are not the leftover of who you used to be. You are a person with knowing that is still in there, still yours, waiting to be lived. The roles are gone. That part is true. But you are still here, and you finally have the freedom to choose what matters. So start by finding out exactly where you stand. Find out the first cause of your problem. It may not be what you think. Take the free assessment of the 5 dimensions of your inner life. 5 minutes, completely free, no email required. consciousnesstrack.app/quiz. I'm Candace. Stay with me for a moment. There's something I want to talk about next. There's one thing that tests our sense of meaning more than anything else. Loss. The loss of someone we love. And if you've lived long enough, you know that grief can make everything feel like it stopped mattering. In the next conversation, we go right into it. Grief, loss, and how to carry it without losing yourself. You can watch it right here. I'll see you there.